question is about virtual currency and its role in mobile payments, given that a lot of financial transaction and wealth actually is being created and exchanged in social networks using things that are convertible to cash but not themselves cash, and how that relates to some of the movements I've heard about in the UK for local currencies within townships as well. Do you see mobile payment as intersecting with that world of currencies that are ultimately convertible but not immediately convertible into cash?
Well, would it be 10 years ago, the Linda, would anyone sort of said that would be a currency that you can actually trade and get into real money with it? People would have laughed in your face. Now, in innovation, what we have to do often is ask the hard question. And I'll give you an example. In the mobile world, we're doing some work for Orange, and we try to say, is there a way that you could allow two people to have an entirely different communication experience on a mobile phone than you're having now? We thought, wow, if we could answer that one, we're on to a winner. We did answer it. And if you want to know what it is, I can talk to you afterwards. But it's only when you start asking those powerful questions to say, how would we make this happen? And when someone's got an interest in making it happen, and certainly I see no reason why, well, in Australia, the 1 and the 2 cent coins have gone, the minimum's a 5 cent coin now, which is roughly 3 pence, 2 pence, or thereabouts, that order of magnitude. So, you know, we're getting rid of small coins here as well, soon, hopefully. There is no reason why we can't change our currency. I mean, if I see, when do you think coins will disappear? We have a
well, it depends what you mean by disappear, doesn't it? Because I mean, it's like saying, you know, when do you think canals will disappear? I mean, we still have canals. It's just that we don't use them as the arteries of commerce.
We've still got old pennies as well, haven't we?
Exactly.
So they're still there, okay. When we start using them as a currency, as an active currency,
there'll be an affectation.
10 years, 100 years, I don't know. But I'm pretty damn sure they're going to go. No, it's just a matter of when, I think.
Yeah, that was basically what I was getting at, is for microtransactions, right? Because they're prohibitive in cost usually for people to use. But if they're done within a virtual currency, you could do a lot of very small, high-volume transactions.
Actually, I mean,
convert after.
There is a historical path to this, because actually that happened in real money as well. So what happened was the cost of coin production was so great. In countries like the UK during the Industrial Revolution, there were no coins because it was too expensive to make the small coins. And so private enterprise stepped in and produced token currencies which were used as an alternative. And I think, you know, I have a suspicion that there's a core of reasonableness in what you're saying. It sounds funny to say that it might be easier and cheaper and simpler to use Facebook money instead of sterling, but actually, you know, it probably will be. And frankly, if anyone in the audience can convince me that sterling is somehow real and World of Warcraft gold isn't, there's a Nobel Prize in economics waiting for them, because they're both backed by absolutely nothing. We haven't been on the gold standard since 1932. But mobile, you know, is it possible that mobile, you know, there are plenty of places in the world already where mobile prepaid value, mobile minutes, mobile calling, is already used as a substitute currency. I mean, could you see that spreading, you know, to other, I mean, like Cornwall and places like that?
I definitely see that sort of thing possible, and most of these things that we've been talking about are by their nature quite, I won't say universal, but they're things that are very accessible. The times when the mobile value became really easy to use in that way was when the operators began to open it up and allow people API access to get in there and be a merchant that could exchange value like that. Certainly, none of this is built around the idea that there's some sort of magic new piece of technology that has to be introduced new and it has to become relevant because it is the magic solution. It's always things that kind of just get bolted together out of what really is already out there. And so I think the things that have been good, the public haven't gone out and said, I really want this new technology to give me payments. They just say, I want this service. And whatever can be made to give them that service will be great. And I think that's possibly the chicken and egg with the NFC is, to an operator, through NFC can give me control of payments. And that ticks a box possibly. But to the end user, they don't want NFC, they want a service. So I think people have to think about these new solutions and what can be done with currency in more about how do we solve that end problem, not how do we make NFC get out there.
Well, in a way with PayPal, I mean, when I use PayPal, I will sell something. I've got a credit with PayPal. I will buy something. I draw down that balance there. In a way, I'm trading goods without any money in the way. It's just my balance. So in a way, haven't I gone to kind of virtual currency already with my PayPal account?
the regulators might disagree with but I mean, so going back to the Linden example, so PayPal has no constraints around currency. We could actually host Linden dollars within PayPal. We could actually host World of Warcraft dollars within. Makes no difference. It's just virtual money in our case. So if you look at Facebook credits, I think the lesson that you've got to learn here is you look at Linden dollars. So they went and released their own currency. You could buy it with PayPal. You could buy it with other things, and then they created their own fantastic money laundering market. So all the lessons, all the things the banks actually are really good at, they didn't know anything about at all. And they actually created a horrible nightmare, and there was people trading currency on eBay, there was people like mugging each other, cyber mugging each other for Linden dollars. And there's things that are wrong about it, and they almost need to bring it in. So if you look at Facebook credits, you look at what Facebook done, I mean, they've recently announced they're powering it with PayPal. And we have very much gone out to say, look, let us deal with that back end, let us deal with that whole getting money in and out of the system. You guys create your own credit system, that's great. You look at what we've done with Green Dot, so you can go and buy PayPal credits over the counter in the US. And for us, really, we're a technology provider. There's no reason you can't have micropayments. There's no reason you could have any other currency.
But he's saying, I mean, we're trying to think of ourselves as like forward-looking and innovative and all that kind of thing. And could it be that we're not actually pushing that boundary enough?
So the biggest
within the GSMA, within the GSMA, it's still too conventional, too looking at the existing businesses, and perhaps we should be more enthusiastic about looking at things which seem a little crazier, Brixton pounds and things like this.
Well, I'd agree as long as you bring in some of the regulation, the learnings that have come in, not actual regulation. Just be a little bit careful about. There's lots of really clever criminals out there who will spot the hole in this really, really fast and start laundering your Brixton credits. I'm going to pick on Brixton. Laundering your credits and doing all the stuff they haven't been able to get away with in the real world. So do be a little bit careful there, and do think you need to interface with the real world and get money in and out, which is real money.